So, thank you so much for your faithful return and watching the videos. It is much appreciated. So, I'm going to start with this passage in Galatians 5:24, and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, and it could very well be based upon the way you were raised, what denomination you grew up with. But the passage in Galatians 5:24 speaks about crucifying, denying the flesh. Here's what it says. And those who are Christ, and those who are Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. So let me ask you a question. When you think about denying the flesh or crucifying the flesh, what comes to mind? What do you think of? So for me, I guess I always equated this passage with something big, a really bad sin. So I've got two things that I'm going to use in my example, and I've got a couple different ways that we can look at it because I'm not convinced any longer that crucifying the flesh is not a smaller thing in addition to a larger thing. So, for example, crucifying the flesh on a larger thing. One would think that crucifying the flesh could be not looking at pornography because that's a really big thing, right? But why can't crucifying the flesh be something smaller? So, for example, there's two ways we can look at this. Let's say you used to look at porn, but you have crucified the flesh and that is no longer a circumstance for you. So now, to be more refined and closer to the person you should be, there are still some areas that you need to crucify the flesh, but it's not a big thing. It's not a big thing like porn. For example, because it is the season of purchasing cookies now, and there are those incredible Thin Mint cookies. And really what you want to do is eat an entire sleeve of them because you really could. But instead, you have 5 or 6. That is crucifying the flesh because your desire is to eat the entire sleeve. So I was thinking about this in terms of what do we think crucifying the flesh is, and then why can't it be something smaller? And those acts of saying no really do refine us, even if it is something small. Conversely, using those exact same examples, maybe you do have a problem with porn and you're not there yet. And maybe you want to eat an entire sleeve of those Thin Mint cookies, but you don't. So instead, you just have 5 or 6. And crucifying your flesh and saying no to your flesh of the cookies is a stepping stone to get you to crucify your flesh and not look at porn. So I was thinking about that a lot lately. And whereas I used to think that crucifying the flesh always had to be something big, not doing porn, whatever, something sexual, something really, really big. But I'm not convinced any longer that crucifying the flesh isn't the small things as well. Because those small things can lead you to the big things. And if you're not involved with the big thing, you can crucify the flesh in a smaller way. And I think there's something to be said about this. So I appreciate your being here. Thank you so very much. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.